We are back. This is part 3 of Power and Presence. This is a series to highlight and identify Black women who are ambitious, paving their own lane, and they're using style as a tool to highlight their skill set and propel them to where they need to go. So today I have Ashley with me. So Ashley, introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Ashley Scarboro, founder and publisher of Modern Stitches magazine.
So who is Ashley beyond the bio?
Oh my goodness. Ashley is a powerhouse. I wear many hats. I tell people I'm the real life Hannah Montana. Beyond the bio, I tell you, well, most people know that I'm a native Washingtonian. I grew up here. I've been in New York, New Jersey for so long, for about 7 to 8 years. And I have a beautiful 2-year-old son. You know, just all the things. Like, I'm a fashion lover, but I'm also very much into the arts overall. You know what I mean? Like, I just love art, period. And that I just love mentorship. And I think that's where I am in the phase of my life right now. Like, outside of just Modern Stitches all the time, the magazine, which is, I don't know if we'll talk about the details on that, but outside of the magazine, I'm your average girl who just likes to do all the fun things.
That was good. That was.
I hope so.
That was a perfect segue to the next question.
Okay.
So you're a DC girl at heart. Mm-hmm. You're building something in this fashion space. What does that mean to you?
The first word that comes to me is impact. I think fashion has become such a label and a brand. Like, fashion has become a personality to me. I think the most important thing that I think about, because you and I have been in the industry for quite some time, right?
A long time.
A long time. She didn't mention this, but we've known each other a long time. And even from just the beginning, the reason why it's been the longevity and where I am now is because I've always wanted to impact other people. When I leave this career, when I close the chapter, when it's ending, I want to say that I left behind something. That's why, I don't think you know this, a lot of my writers are journalism students. Mm-hmm. I specifically have journalism students who intern with me because there aren't a lot of outlets for, especially HBCU students, to learn to work for magazines and things like that. So impact is the name of the game, and mission focus is what's so important to me.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I do know, like, how you're going just beyond the thread of what it is, you know, what fashion entails. Mm-hmm. So that was another reason why I wanted us to have this conversation. It's so good. Like, it's already
sensationalist.
So, I mean, it's literally flowing into the questions, like, naturally. So,
it's like, I'm used to being on the other side. I'm used to being where you are asking the questions. So this is nice sometimes. So I'm cool with it.
Switch it up, use all our skill
sets.
Okay, Modern Stitches exists to amplify unsung Black creatives. Mm-hmm. What made that mission personal for you? And I feel like you just kind of touched on that. So.
Yeah, it's personal for me because, first of all, I'm a Black woman. I went to an HBCU. I've done New York Fashion Week. You know, the resume is long, honey. Just been doing so many things, but it was important for me to implement Black voices because there's a lot of times where we are overlooked, we're underpaid, we're just not the focal point. And so many beautiful garments grace the runway, or there's so many amazing designers. We talked about a few minutes ago how, like, a lot of designs are stolen from our Black designers and things. And it was important for me to create a space where I'm giving them their flowers while they can smell them. Hence the reason why I started Modern Stitches Live, because initially, I didn't even highlight Black voices. It's all about streetwear, vintage fashion. But I recognize that I have a very specific audience. And they want to hear about vintage and streetwear. But, I added a layer. I want to talk about the Black experience. And I'm loud and proud about that because I'm Black. And I have a lot of people like you who's a stylist. And it's just like people see all these looks. And it's just like, oh yeah, well, I modeled this look. I put these looks together, whether it's like some French brand, but it's people like you who put it together, and people never get that acknowledgement. And it's just like, it's so important for me to acknowledge that because, again, impact. And I need to give us the shine that we deserve.
I agree with that. I definitely made a shift over the almost 10 years that I've been Dejeuné Stylist has existed, but now I specifically work with and focus on Black women. Yeah. And so it's either accepted or it's criticized that, you know, I'm ostracizing other people or voices, but I'm like, our voices have been muddled for so long.
Yes, for sure.
And just look at the impact of the world, like where we are right now, Black women are being targeted more so than usual and not supported.
Yes.
Under-resourced, overqualified.
Right. Yes.
So I'm just like, okay, I need to really show up specifically for that woman. And again, that's not to exclude anyone else, but again, there are so many other outlets and resources for other people.
Right, for sure.
And we have so little.
Kind of like Black Lives Matter, and then people are like, all lives matter. It's just like, yeah, we know that those people are important too, but specifically Black people matter. And that's the same thing in this industry. Like, no, I said Black voices. I didn't say everyone. I said Black voices because, like you said, DEI has been stripped away from us in a lot of ways. And it's just like, we have to continue the narrative to make sure that we're highlighting people who look like us, brown faces, and not even just Black people, but yes, we're focused on them. Indian brands, Hispanic brands, Native American brands that just really push the narrative forward for like creative fashion. And it's like, we got to give them a platform.
Also, too, when other people support their culture and their heritage, like they're not ostracized.
Right.
But when we do it, there's so much backlash and just criticism. And it's like, no, if you feel threatened about us mentioning ourselves and our voice and our experience, how do you think we feel when we are never mentioned?
Correct.
By other people?
Right. For sure.
Okay, so we're going to pivot a little bit.
Okay.
So vintage elegance meets luxury streetwear. Most people would pick one lane that they would focus on. Why didn't you?
Because I like to shake the table. I do. I like to keep things fun. I like to keep things energetic. And I just think that, again, as a Black creative, as a Black entrepreneur, I get to choose my lane. There is a luxury to vintage and streetwear. When I started this magazine so many years ago, I just started it because I was once an HBCU student where they placed a lot of these schools in these rural areas where you're not able to shop luxury. It's not in a larger city. So I started to thrift, and I would find some of the most amazing treasures, whether it's like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, or just something of that sort. And I said, you know what? This isn't your grandmother's antique. This isn't like some dusty thrift item. I said, some of this is like a treasure. And that's the way I created my own niche lane. And I love that I'm in a place now where I can compare it to a lot of runway trends because, fashion repeats itself every 20, 30 years. And there are some gems that just never go away. You're going to see the same thing. So my audience knows, like, yeah, some of these things that I see on the runway that we consider luxury, it's just a repeat of what you've already seen 30 years ago. And I can find that in the thrift store for you. So for it to be streetwear, vintage, luxury fashion, say that 12 times, I feel like it's a lane that's mine. And I feel like my audience loves that because now you feel like you have your confidence because you're looking at the runway and you see what this model is wearing. Is like, I could wear that too because I found it through thrift and through modern stitches.
Right. It's like the saying, it's ghetto until it's popular.
Correct. I have that hoodie. Shout out to Narisha.
Yeah. A lot of things start off as an idea or concept, and then there's a creative force that is pushing it.
Yeah.
Into fruition.
Right. So. It's impossible until somebody does it. So
yes. I like that. And I think when you already have so much fashion knowledge and you're more fashionable, that's definitive by whoever, however you want to point it. People feel like things are unattainable or it's out of reach or it's just something that really doesn't make sense.
Right.
So I think when someone is fashionable and they give these points or these suggestions, it comes off as easy.
Yeah, it becomes attainable. And that's just something back to what I was saying about being impactful because I speak to the everyday girl a lot of the time who doesn't feel as if like I can wear that. It's just like you'll see somebody well put together and you're like, oh my God, that outfit is so expensive. I could never put that together. How do I put that together? And in my mind, people like us who fashion is a gift. We like, girl, all you got to do is the X, Y, and Z, like just ABC. Okay, that's it. But there are people out here, and that's why I recently started on TikTok building up a capsule collection. Like I'm giving a girl step-by-steps on how to build a capsule collection and put it together so that they can too feel confident and runway ready.
No, that's very good. I just have a theory that the capsules that you see, those downloads on Pinterest and stuff, is like a carbon copy.
Yeah.
But that's why people say, oh, it doesn't work, because you still have to put the you into your capsule. You have to put your identity, your body type, all of the things that work for you into it. So that's why you're trying to follow this blueprint. It's not working.
And what I say is, you have to wear the outfit. Don't let it wear you. You can put the clothes on, but then you have to style it according to you. You know what I mean? So you can't let it wear you.
Yeah, easier said than done. First time.
I know.
And again, that's why these conversations are so important, right? And just giving people the ideas and the steps on how they can attain it.
Right.
You reach out to someone who is skilled in that area that you're not.
Right, for sure. Oprah said, if you can't do something, you hire somebody who can. So, yes.
I always reach out to a pro.
Yes, every time.
You've said that Modern Stitches documents evolution. Mm-hmm. What does that mean in practice?
So basically, when it comes to evolution, your style evolves all the time. Thrift evolves all the time. And how I mentioned that you'll see the same trends like recycle. Right now, we're in the trend where the early 2000s are coming back into play, which is crazy because I feel like that was just yesterday. And at the time, I was a teenager. So you're seeing Von Dutch, you're seeing True Religions, you're seeing all of these brands, Juicy Couture, making a comeback. And I believe this is the evolution because even though it comes back, it looks different every single season. And I feel like Modern Stitches reflects that because streetwear is always going to be a part of our identity, especially as Black people. Yeah. But it's almost like we're reinventing the 30-year version of it now. And I feel like you always evolve. Like, I ain't gonna tell you how old I am now, but I feel like my style has evolved. And that's why the brand has evolved. And so I look at the brand, and it's just like at one point, I was not even shopping the same thrift that I'm shopping now. Sometimes it's archive fashion. Mm-hmm. And it was popular not too long ago because Cardi B had a song out, I want to say a couple of months ago, and she talked about archive fashion versus thrift fashion. And it's just so interesting that we talk about evolution because people are like, what is the difference? I'm glad you asked. Thrift fashion is truly just like retail repurposed fashion. Like you can find like your Forever 21s and all that on the retail rack during thrift, and it's affordable. Archive fashion is fashion that is decades later, and it is like a gem in an archive. So it could have been something that Whitney Houston wore on a tour or something like that, like a vintage shirt or pants or something like that. And it's now in an archive. So when we start talking about evolution, we're talking about styles evolving over time. And I feel like Modern Stitches nails that all the time.
Okay, that was a really good breakdown for people who don't know.
Yeah.
I just found a archive Burberry blazer and I got it for $20.
What?
And it's archive because at a certain point they shifted their ready to wear and their logos.
Yes.
So this is like a special piece. Like,
yes.
I was screaming.
I was so happy.
$20. I snatched the thing. So
oh my goodness, $20.
Okay. How is fashion activism different from fashion content?
That's a big piece. No, but it makes sense because fashion activism is clearly what I'm all about in the brand, especially when I added the layer of Black voices. That would be considered activism. Just everyday fashion content is just what your everyday influencer will post. Like on Instagram, it's like, come get ready with me as I wear this. But I think when you talk about activism, it's more about being intentional. So if you're going to be an influencer and you are showing off what you're wearing, how is this making an impact? I think the difference would be, it's like, okay, well, this was styled by your stylist forever. She's an African-American woman stylist. And then because that is creating a place for your brand. And then I'm wearing all Black owned garments today. So I feel like that's the impact instead of just regular content and activism. And just, I think it's styling with a purpose, because as long as you're doing it with intent and with purpose, that's what impacts, I guess, creative content.
Okay. And I agree with that too. I'm really big on your style being reflective of your culture, your identity,
Yeah.
and also your beliefs.
Right.
Versus what's trending right now, what's
Yes.
popular, what is this person wearing, what's on a mannequin.
Right.
And versus, you know what, this is something that has some type of historical or emotional meaning.
For sure. For sure. And I think that goes a long way because it's like, you know, the people who are in our position, we're the ones who are creating the narrative through what you're wearing. It's down not even just also religion, background. It has something to do with the microfibers. Like I know sometimes the material can be different on some people's skin, or it could be like supporting sustainable fashion. Like, oh, this is a sustainable company that only uses a certain microfiber and it's coming from Africa or something like that. It may seem small to you. It's just like an influencer or just the everyday person, but this is actually making a difference somewhere else.
Right. When Black creatives are centered in fashion, what do you think changes in the room?
A lot. a lot. We push the culture forward. We really do in a lot of ways. And I think that is beginning to show up in the next generation through like Culture Con. We have Black girls in media. We have Black girls that you don't even see that's behind the pen. Not even just at Essence or whatever. I think Black people have always had their hand on fashion. And I personally think people like Andre Leon Talley, they don't get enough credit. We're in a place now where so many of our creators are having their ideas stolen. And I just think that it's not something we can keep to ourselves, but I think that we need to protect the space that we have. And being a creative is something so special. And I think that culture is behind all of it. And we just have to figure out what our protective space is going to be. Unfortunately, we're on public platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and all those sorts of things. But culture is understanding your culture and standing by it and supporting each other is really what's going to help us to the next level.
Your audience are tastemakers and change makers. How does the way they dress reflect who they are?
I would say that, you know, my audience is very niche. It's very specific. My audience are a group of people who believe in creativity, who believe in self-identity, because with thrifting and vintage and streetwear and putting that all together, you're going to get something new every single time. And I think that my specific audience, they look to Modern Stitches for inspiration and ways that they can create an outlet to build outfits that you're never going to see again or you'll never seen before. There are some really cool influencers. Of course, this is escaping me. We did a really good digital cover this past summer. Shaquita, that's her name. Her name is Shaquita. She is a mom. And it was just amazing to see how she really implemented the one material that she loves the most, which is like tulle. She goes to thrift shops and like shops for tulle. She makes really amazing hats that are, I guess they are sustainable, but she's like a major thrift shopper. So I just think that my audience, they look to be eco-friendly, sustainable, and super fashionable, and they stand out in the crowd. And you'll see that like on our Instagram and things like that. It's not your average publication. Everybody has their own unique style, and I love that.
So you feel like their identity and their visual identity are correlated equally?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is really important. A lot of my clients they are doing so much. They've already paved the way. They're carrying so much, but there's usually some sort of gap in how they're showing up. And this is where they will come to me. And this is where I fill in that gap to make everything cohesive.
Yeah, I think so too. Like for Modern Stitches, again, the possibilities are endless, and a lot of our styles come from different decades and they intertwine with each other. And when you see a lot of the posts and things that we have, or some of the influencers that we have spoken to, every single style is unique. And what I think what attracts me to fashion, period, is the fact that it's an art form. I get so much satisfaction in seeing like even things like your skirt. Or I tell people all the time, I may not remember what you said, but I remember what you had on. I always remember what you had on because fashion to me is art and it's stimulating. And I think going through a thrift shop or vintage shop and just looking at all the different decades on one rack, that's just the most amazing thing because that is art right there together. And you're looking at fashion through the years at one time.
And I'm such a nerd, so I love history.
Yes.
And I love the meaning behind why this is made like this,
right.
Or why women started wearing pants and nylon stockings, and how it's like correlated to the war and all of the things. Like I can just go on and on about it.
And stirrup pants.
Let's talk about it. Talk about it. I don't know.
Okay. I have a fascination with stirrup pants. Now, I'm not bringing the historical fact, but I'm bringing it current. Remember, I was saying like fashion reinvents itself and you'll see it throughout the years. In the military, if you go to a military surplus store, you'll see some cargo pants and they have like stirrups. Okay. And that was to keep the pants tucked into the boots during the military and while they were at war or wherever, just their average uniform. And that was like in the early 1900s and you'll see those. But then you move forward to like the 80s and the girls are like, she's a maid. Like aerobics. And they have stirrup leggings. And it was amazing to me because I brought up stirrup leggings, I want to say a couple years ago. And I was just such an advocate. I was like, these girls are going to make a comeback. And then Rihanna came on Instagram and she had stirrup leggings on. I was like, okay, but y'all didn't listen to me. Now they in Zara, they $50, $60. But at the thrift store, I swear, I found some good ones like 10 years ago, $5. So that's how it impacts fashion. And it just evolves over time.
So that's fashion, and most of our garments usually were formed for some sort of function.
Absolutely. Yeah. They have a purpose.
And especially like when things becoming like popular. I'm like, I'm never wrong. I'm just usually early.
That's a good one. Okay, I see.
I'm trying to touch on this too, though. But you built a publication rooted in authenticity. Has that required you to show up differently in your own style?
Yes, it's very authentic. See, the thing about it is, okay, remember I said I wear many hats, and now I'm a mom. If you were to see me on the street outside of this, I would be unrecognizable. I promise you. Like, I have a uniform. Like, my favorite color is black. So I wear leggings with pockets almost every day in black. I'm doing drop off for my toddler. Like, I got a hoodie on. I got on and people are like, oh, this is so fashionable. But it's me on an everyday basis. And you talked about authenticity. Like, I don't look like this every day. And I'm okay with that because every season of my life requires something different of me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter. Like, I'm going to dress different for the occasion. But when it comes to Modern Stitches and it comes to my fashion life and being an editor, I'm going to show up. Wearing what you like and what you feel good in, you're always going to feel your best. You're going to walk taller. You're going to be confident. So in knowing that there are 3 to 4 different versions of my style and my identity, I'm okay with that. And I show up fully in that, whether that's Ugg boots and leggings with pockets and I'm stuffing a toddler cup in my pocket on the run. But then you also going to see me on the side of the runway at New York Fashion Week and wearing my tallest heel. So there's that. And that's me being authentic.
Okay. And authenticity is identifying when you need to evolve.
For sure. Yes.
What happens to a Black woman's sense of self when she sees herself represented in fashion media the correct way?
That's interesting. I think that's personal. But what I will say, and what in my experience, what I've seen, especially with Black women, it feels like a dose of adrenaline when I see us represented in the correct way. I was just watching the NAACP awards for this year, and I saw so many brown faces showing up. They were dressed to the nines, and it just made me so proud because there was a time in I make it a whole thing. First of all, I love runway, red carpets. Like during red carpet season, I'm tuned in. You know how people look at the Super Bowl? Mm-hmm. I'm tuned in like that, like for the red carpets. So when I see us over time, like there aren't a lot of us that show up to these red carpets, like at the Oscars, the Grammys, all that. So when I see us like Tiana Taylor and she... I said, what is going on? She looks amazing. My jaw drops, and it makes me so proud. So proud to know that, hey, not only do I feel proud, and this is an art form, I look at the little girls following behind us, and it's just like, hey, that can be you too. And showing up properly is so important because, and you can identify with this, I've been on photo shoots myself where people have been hired to like do our hair, and they don't know how to do our hair, and our hair ends up looking crazy. And I myself, I don't know about you, I've had to bring products from my house, which is like, we're not gonna have my business going out there like that. I got you, okay? Let me do this. And so when we are represented properly, it brings so much joy to my heart because we've come a long way. We've had to struggle. We've had to fight. If you look at Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks, the girls was looking pasty in the 90s. And it's just like, they were the representation of us, of peak Black excellence, and we were proud. But look where we are now. They got foundation in all shades of brown. So between beauty and fashion, I'm just elated to see, but we also have a long way to go as well.
Yeah.
So
I think when we are represented, it gives support.
Yeah.
Like it's a virtual hug that
yes.
Okay, you're not alone.
Yes.
And there are more things possible for you.
For
not
sure.
Just the crumbs that are handed to you.
And it's attainable. And that's the thing. It's just like, okay, they can do it, so can I.
Exactly.
I love that.
Hope. It looks like hope.
Yeah, a little bit of hope.
How has becoming a mother shifted the way you think about presence and how you show up?
Oh, it's a big deal to me also. Because before I had him, I've always showed up authentically for myself, no matter what. But showing up as a mom now, I know that I have someone else who's looking at me as well. And so I need to make sure that he understands. And I'm not one of those moms where I feel like I have to be perfect all the time. Where I want him to understand, hey, I also have flaws, but I want you to see the evolution of your mom too, and understand that, hey, I have flaws, and you're going along with me on this ride too. So I show up a little bit differently, but still variations of myself because he's gonna always know me as mom, but I want him to meet Ashley too.
Like, hey, you are someone outside of
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. It makes my son he just turned 14, so it makes me more conscious about how I show up, even though I always care. But it's like, okay, I have something, somebody's depending on me. Right. But also, too, I really want my son to know that you can be yourself. Absolutely. In adversity, in the face of people telling you who you are not supposed to be or who you'll never be. Right. So that is really important. And also, too, just going after what you want, no matter what what comes up. And
I just want to tackle one more thing, just the fact that you are a boy mom and I'm also a boy mom as well. I think it's important as well for us to show them what femininity looks like and then what masculinity looks like as well, and how we can meet in the middle. And you brought up a really good point. As we're raising Black men, and I think it's important for them to know that they have a voice. It can be heard. And you're smart, and whatever you say matters.
Right.
Whenever you have something to say, it's going to make a difference. And although my son is only 2.5, as he continues to grow, I want to keep on filling his cup with mantras like, you are smart, you are important, this is exactly what you have to say is going to matter. And going forward, you have a place in this world and a purpose. And you don't have to follow my lead either. Like, he doesn't have to be. If he decides that he doesn't care nothing about fashion, I will cry internally. But you don't have to do what I do. So you are your person.
You are allowed to take up space.
For sure.
And worthy to do so, yeah. And my son hates fashion and everything about it. But I think that means I'm doing a good job because he is very much his own person. He has his own autonomy. Good. But I try every day. I'm like, you don't want to wear this?
No.
So for the woman who wants to build her presence but doesn't know where to start, what do you tell her?
If you want to build a presence and you don't want to start, I would say start with what matters most to you. Because I feel like, and I could be wrong, I feel like we're in a world right now where everyone is just kind of like copycatting about what exactly showing up online looks like. We all have to be an influencer. You have to take pictures. It has to be picture perfect. And I think we need to get back to causes and your purpose. So if you want to have a presence, I feel like people gravitate to you. People invest in you. And this is something that I told one of my editors where I was mentoring a little bit. Mm-hmm. People invest in what you have going on. You can be sitting here on TikTok selling a bag of apples. People don't care nothing about that apple until they see you eat. You see what I'm saying? People invest in you. So if you want to build a presence, do something that's going to matter to you in 10 years. So if it's not fashion, if it has something to do with building a garden, if it has something to do with religion, people are going to do, I think about, and the thing is, they can intertwine. So everyone is showing up different, and you got to find your lane. I have 2 examples of that. The first one is, I saw a young man on Instagram. He was saying how he is a stylist for NFL players specifically. And I'm just like, that's his lane. And I'm just like, that is a very niche lane, but it's his. And people are going to invest in that. And that's what I'm saying. And then I think about Sarah Jakes Roberts, TD Jakes' daughter. She is a fashionista and she's a preacher. So my thing is, who would have thought that the two would have combined? Like, most people want you to wear the all black or wear one of those first lady suits. But she's a fashionista. She's a fashion icon in her own right. But she also is a woman of the cloth. So I say all that to say, if you're going to show up as yourself. If you're selling clown suits, or if you're selling something that's not realistic, or people don't believe you, people have to believe you. So if you're a stylist, but we've never seen you style anyone, like, the proof is in the pudding. So if you want to have a presence, you have to start with yourself, and you have to invest in yourself, because what I will tell you is it will get tiring. Yeah. Pretending gets old. Yeah. And the ideas will not flow. So you figure out what your purpose is. You feel like what your investment is in the world. And I promise you, it's going to come to fruition. So that's how you do it.
That was perfect. I definitely think that style is centered around who you are.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who you are, it's going to be reflective in how you show up.
And it's going to be temporary, because we live in a microwave world, and it's just like, you're going to run out of ideas. And it's just not going to be authentic, like you mentioned. It's like, okay, I really love fashion, and you putting it together. People love fashion, but they don't have style. And I think that's the difference, and people are going to figure that out.
All right, great. Okay, yeah. Final question. What does Modern Stitches look like in 5 years?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm so glad you asked me that. I'm going to shorten this answer. Modern Stitches is really in a turning point right now. And that's a good thing. We are truly evolving right now. Because if you would have asked me this 5 years ago, it would have sounded totally different. Mm-hmm. And 5 years before that, because I mentioned we originally started as just a streetwear vintage fashion magazine. But then now we're talking about luxury fashion. And as of during the pandemic, I created Modern Stitches Live, where I highlighted Black voices. So that's only a few years old. As we look towards 5 years from now, it's not a hard pivot. I sat down recently and I wanted to figure out how I can be impactful even further outside of mentorship. So in 5 years, Modern Stitches is more so going to be like consulting. We're going to add a layer of consulting, which we've already started through our capsule collection on TikTok that I started doing, because again, people invest in you. And the thing people don't know about me is I'm really for the people. Like, anyone can come up to me. Like, yes, I'm the founder, the editor. I go to all the things. People see me at New York Fashion Week, but I promise you, I'm a very down to earth person, because I started from scratch and I know what that looks like. So mentorship and impact is so important. So capsule collection. In 5 years, Modern Stitches, I'm probably it's going to still be here as far as a magazine digitally, but I'm going to pass that on to someone else, and I'm going to be working specifically in a consulting capacity. Okay. And I've already started that because we now have a lookbook. And I recently put that on Instagram, where basically I'm creating custom lookbooks for the everyday person to have confidence. So many people have come to me and they're just like, I don't know what to wear. Maybe they're in postpartum. or they're like older and they're just trying to figure out exactly what they want to wear. And so many, or they've gained weight or they've lost weight and they just need to find their confidence. So I recently started something called Stitched in Style.
Okay.
And I'm creating custom lookbooks, 4 looks, digitally sent to your email. You just click the garments and you pay for them. And that's how we do the working relationship.
Okay, like a resource.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is all of my questions.
I'm glad
that else before we.
I don't know. Well, you know, again, I'm always usually the interviewer. So this, like, I could talk all day. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so grateful to be here with you. We haven't seen each other in such a long time. And I'm so proud of all the work that you're doing, and you're getting in front of the camera, because that's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. So that's all for me. Check us out on modernstitchesmag.com, on Instagram and TikTok, and just stay thrifted. Stay thrifted. We're saving the earth, and we're impacting one another one by one.